So I'm Shivani Kalhan, a diabetes expert and a health coach at Sugarfit. And today we'll be discussing about how should a diabetic's plate look like. A lot of times we hear that you have diabetes, you can't eat this, you can't eat that. But what exactly should your plate look like? What should be there in your meals and what should not be there in your meals is something a diabetic person is always concerned about. So is there anything that we should be, motivated to or look forward to in our plate that should be there or not? So we'll be discussing all those things today. And if any, questions or anything that you want to ask, you can definitely drop in a message on the chat box. Right. So we'll wait for another 2 or 3 seconds and start. Okay, great. So how should a diabetic plate look like? When I say that a diabetic plate, it means general eating as well as when you are going out, right? How should your plate look like? Should there be carbs? Should there be no carbs, proteins, or what exactly should my plate look like? The moment we get to know that, yes, I have diabetes or we are in the pre-diabetic range, the moment we hear this, what happens is we start to realize that, okay, what do I have to do? We start Googling things out, or maybe, we start taking references from our friends or maybe somebody who has diabetes. And looking at that, there are certain myths and certain things that, we all feed in ourselves. That is, avoid rice, avoid honey, avoid, having chapatis. But is that true? Or, is that how your plate should look like? So let's see how exactly your plate should be like. So looking at the concept, we should have vegetables, carbs, proteins, but the very less talked about thing that we always forget is, your drink, the water, right? So I'd like to know from people who have joined here that, what is your go-to choice? Is it the canned juices or the drinks that we get in the market? Do you like to have that since it's the summertime? Or do you like homemade fresh beverages? So you must be getting, an option. Do choose that. Let me know. I'm waiting for another 30 seconds. Let me know what is your go-to option, because it's too hot, right? And we definitely want to, have fluids. We want to have liquid things. What is your go-to option? Choose and let me know, so that I can know that, yes, what exactly do you choose being a diabetic and have that along with your meal. So, anything that you like, be honest and choose it. Yeah. And don't worry, it could be, anything. It could be an outside juices also. So I'll tell you how can you make them healthy and how can we have and what is good, but I want to know from your side that what is your go-to option? Do choose it, yeah, in the chat box. So your summer drinks, because it's summers. Yes, we are thirsty. What exactly is that thing that you like to have? Water? Yes, of course. But apart from water, what are those things that you like to have? Okay. So as per the the polls, I can see 66% people say homemade fresh beverages, whereas 33 said canned juices or drink. Okay, that's good. So definitely, whenever we are talking about the meal, be it a diabetic person, a non-diabetic, or a pre-diabetic person, your meal should have something to hydrate your body. When we talk about fresh beverages that are homemade, water should be your go-to option. So water again is really, really important for our body because it hydrates your body, right? The go-to options that can be, which are good for diabetic people can be just normal water. You can take lemon water. You can also take some detox water, like adding mint leaves, lemon and ginger to it. What exactly water does it? It actually it removes the dehydration in the body and rehydrates your body. So I'll give you an example to make you understand that how water, just a simple thing, makes such a big role in your body. Whenever we have diabetes or we are in pre-diabetic stage, what happens is there are high level of glucose in the body, right? Now think of a bottle, like a ruafza, right? When you see, it's a thick syrup that is there in it, right? The moment you add it into your glass, you will definitely add water into it. What happens is we are diluting it and the consistency becomes thin. Similarly, if you think of your blood, right? If you think of the sugar concentration in the body, when you are dehydrating the body, your sugar spikes start happening. The moment you start hydrating your body, definitely the sugars go less. It is getting, hydrated. The body is getting well hydration. At the same time, it is helping us in, flushing out the excess toxins, flushing out the, sugar toxic load in the body. So make sure that you are hydrating yourself very well enough in summers or winters. Make sure that, 1 hour concept is there. So every 1 hour, 1 glass of water you need to finish. That ways we can, contribute about 10 to 12 glasses of water every day. And that's how, your proper hydration can take place. So going forward, what are the other things that my plate should have? How should my plate look like, right? So to start off with, the very first thing is the vegetables and fruits. So a lot of diabetic people, are told that, yes, you have diabetes, you can't have certain vegetables, you can't have fruits at all. But to burst that myth and to let you know, fruits can be taken in diabetes. It's not that you cannot have fruits. Vegetables and fruits are really good sources of vitamins and minerals. So yes, we do have diabetes, but then we have the entire body with us, right? So we have to take care of the nutrients, the minerals, the micros, the macronutrients in the body. Vegetables and fruits can be taken, and vegetables, should be focused more. So a diabetic or a pre-diabetic person should take at least 3 to 4 servings, of vegetables in their meals every day. How can you include more vegetables? How can you have vegetables? So you can make salads. Since it's summers, we don't want to eat heavy. Simple salads, cut vegetables can be kept, and those can be taken your meals, the major meals that we have, your breakfast, lunch, dinner. So, certain fruits that we have that have high glycemic index definitely have to be avoided. But, it's not that there is a complete restriction on your fruits, right? So, for example, to talk about certain fruits, fruits like vitamin C rich fruits, we have kiwi, oranges, these fruits can be taken. But on the other hand, we do have some fruits like mango, chiku, watermelon. These fruits in certain amount definitely can be taken. So always choose those fruits that are local and seasonal, but maintain the portion size. You can always include some nuts and seeds, to avoid the post meal spike after having a fruit. That is another go-to option. Also, just to know, if my fruit is high glycemic index or low glycemic index, or does my fruit have a very, very high sugar level in it or not? How can we check that? The moment you put the fruit in your mouth, it starts melting like mango or like chiku. When we put it in our mouth, what happens is it starts melting. It means that it has high sugar level in it. That is one way that you can always be aware and, check for your fruit. So if we are having vitamin C rich fruit, or let's say, we're having high glycemic index fruit, we have to make sure that in a very, very small amount, you're taking the high glycemic index fruits, and check for your body if that certain vegetable or fruit is suiting you or not. And how can we check that? Like we all have different DNAs, right? Similarly, the, impact of your fruit and vegetable on your body is different. How would I know that, yes, having this maybe fat, this vegetable or this carb will help you or not help you? So that we can do by CGM, that is a continuous glucose monitoring. It's a small device that is attached, to your arm, which we do here in Sugarfit. It helps to understand your body patterns. So, you and the health coach can understand that, yes, is this certain fruit, this certain, part of my meal helping me or not helping me? So to understand more, you can definitely, subscribe to the channel, join the community link so that we can make you aware of what is good and what is not good for your body. Coming to fats and oils, with diabetes, of course, a huge amount of people have, good, bad cholesterol levels, obesity coming in, so those are all metabolic disorders that come along with diabetes. So what to do? Should we remove the fats and oils, or should we have fats and oils? So again, fats and oils, these have good vitamins in it, the fat soluble vitamins, that is your vitamin A, D, E, and K. So fats in a certain portion and certain quantity can be taken, and it should be taken, right? So choosing your fats is very important. Again, how much portion? So there are two types of fats also, the visible and the non-visible fats, right? So visible as in like when you are taking butter, when you are using oil for cooking, and the invisible, that is inside the particular food that you're taking. For example, your seeds, like your flax seeds, your pumpkin seeds. These are good fat sources, and they must be taken in the right quantity and quality. Always try to use a mixture or combination of two fats and oils. So let's say you're using maybe a soybean oil, use a combination of soybean or a peanut oil. That way the concentration of mufa and pufa is better, and a better heart health can come out. But there are trans fats also, right? So now how do I know what is a trans fat, what is a good fat, what is a bad fat? Fats like frying, double fried, deep fried food, they are not good for your body. Okay, they will have trans fats in it. Things that we get outside, which is like the cookies, or we have butter rich foods, those are very, very unhealthy, and they have trans fats in it. Whereas on the other hand, if we go for the nuts and seeds, those are very healthy options. Or you go for butters, not going for the white or the yellow butter, but going for a peanut butter or an almond butter in a certain portion is definitely going to help you out, right? So make sure that the quality of fat is good and the quantity is measurable. Also, whenever you are stepping out of the home and buying some certain products for yourself, to eat, the grocery shopping that we say, always, just flip your product and check the label. Read the label. It is really very important, because sometimes they do write some scientific names, and we tend to feel that yes, it is sugar free or it has good oil, there's no trans fat, but they will write some scientific name just to fool you. So always try the things that and you can see it's not there, excellent. But if you don't know any certain term that is given, always you have your phone in your hand, Google it out to understand the meaning of the name, right? And if it has bad fat, trans fat, or any, sugar concentration in it, try to avoid that, right? So that comes about the fat. Next we go on is the proteins, right? So proteins again, is very, very important to include in your meals. What does protein do and why is protein important? Okay. So first of all, we have to ensure that how much protein are we taking. How is the protein calculated? It is according to your body weight, according to your BMI. According to that and the workout level you have, we need to understand what does my body require, how much amount of protein my body requires. And after that, make sure that each meal of yours has a protein source. Why? Protein, delays the gastric emptying and lowers down the sugar spikes. So what happens is, our major meals, right? We tend to have, a carb portion, maybe a roti, a chapati, or rice, or maybe a dosa. We might have, a certain amount of vegetable, and we might or might not have a protein portion. That is your dal. It could be, chicken, non-veg, people who eat non-vegetarian, they can have eggs as well, chicken as well, meat as well. But again, how much protein are you taking? Make sure each and every meal, and by each and every, I mean, add the protein sources into your snacks by adding some nuts, oils, and seeds. Those also have good amount of protein in it. You can definitely include some egg options. You can include sprouted form of, your dals. They enhance the protein quality in the food. So protein will definitely help you in lower downing your post-meal sugar spikes. So try every meal that you have, each and every meal, you try to include those protein sources, right? Again, saying that, yes, I'm a vegetarian and I will not be able to have protein sources. No, that's not correct. Proteins can be taken like a cereal pulse combination. For example, Everybody in the Indian household makes khichdi, right? So, when we are combining our dal with rice, it's a complete protein that you're having. But since we are diabetic and we say that we need to lower down the carb portion, what has to be done? We have to increase the dal portion and reduce the carb portion, that is the rice portion, right? So that way, you can include proteins, and there are various other food options that a vegetarian person can have, like soybean, your seeds. You can also have dal. So having some dal salads again is a very good option as a snacking option. So it will not make you feel hungry. Sometimes when we eat our meals, after half an hour, after 45 minutes, we think that yes, I had my meal but still I'm feeling hungry. Why is that happening? The whole sole reason is that our meal was lacking in the protein and fat. It was just a very, very carb rich meal that we ate, So make sure that protein is, focused upon and taken in every meal of yours. It will also help you to lower down the sugar cravings that we have in the body. So if we are feeling hungry after the meals, if we feel that, yes, I'm feeling very lethargic or very lazy after finishing my lunch, or if I have, sudden sugar cravings, make sure to go back and check, am I having right amount of protein and am I having the right amount of fiber? These are two very important things that we need to keep a check upon. Right. Then, of course, the most, discussed topic, the carbohydrate, the moment we know, yes, diabetes is there, we start thinking that, should I have carb? Should I not have carb? Again, I would like to ask you a question, right? Is no carb better for you or a low carb better for you? What do you think? According to you, I would like to know, is no carb better or low carb better for you? Do you follow any kind of that? Any no carb people who are here who follow no carbs, or somebody who is on low carb? I would like to know, what are your thinking? What do you think? What is better for you? A no carb or a low carb? Do hit that button, yeah, in the chat. Do let me know. So the moment, we feel that, yes, diabetes is there and carb is my enemy. A lot of people tell you, don't eat the carbs, don't eat rice, don't eat roti. What do you feel? That helps you? That doesn't help you? Do you think no carb is better, low carb? Another 10 seconds. Let's just hit that button. So I'll be waiting for your response. And it could be anything, whatever you feel, according to you. Anybody wants to answer that? You can put it in the chat box. Okay, so low carb, 100%, excellent, that's wonderful. And no carb was 0%. That is excellent, So of course, since I'm really happy to know that you guys are aware on live that no carb is not the solution, why is it not the solution? Again, having carb-free meals will not help your glucose levels to go away, or help to reverse your diabetes. For example, let's say we are sitting in Delhi and we want to travel to maybe Noida. Okay, what will happen? I would say to the in the petrol pump that I want to put half amount of petrol only in the body, and I want to reach Noida. That is never possible. Similarly, you have to make sure that you are having the correct amount of carb. Having no carb is not going to help us at all. Even having just let's say dal and salad will also give you a certain amount of carbs. So there is nothing like a no carb, right? But choose your carbs wisely, having complex carbs or simple carbs. Now, what is that? Another scientific term that we have. So complex carbs is something that has more fiber. It will give you more fiber and less sugar spikes, and they are digested slowly by the gut. Whereas simple carbs, those do not have any fiber. They're very low on fiber, and they give you instant sugar spikes in the body, right? For example, having whole grain options, having millets, or having options like oats is a complex carb option. right? Whereas when you go on having, like a maida rich, maybe burger buns, or let's say we have these, certain breakfast cereals in the market, or for that instance, some mueslis, they will have certain amount of sugar in it. These are simple carbs. These are, the moment they go into your body, the moment the digestion process starts, it is going to, create a huge spike in your sugar levels. So make sure that the choice of carb is taken care of. Complex carbs should be always chosen. Apart from that, limit your carb, do carb counting in each meal. Count your carbs. How much carb did you have? And the total carb, what was the total carb in the entire day that you had? We need to focus on that, because, our brain only works on glucose. So how would that come in if we are going to have no carb, So certain carbs for the digestion of protein, for the digestion and better health, we do require certain carbs. Now, how much carb do we need? Of course, you can sit and you can discuss with the health coach to understand that how much carbs are required for your particular body, which again depends on a person to person and your HbA1c level again. Apart from that, whenever you're going to the market, whenever you're choosing out things and it says no sugar in it, or let's say it says that diabetic friendly, just again turn the product and see what the label says. Sometimes things ending with OSE, that is O's, like fructose, like glucose, like sucrose. What are these? Maltose. What are these? These are all sugars, but these are the scientific names for that. So we will see that yes, sugar is not written, and we feel that yes, it is diabetic friendly, or yes, I can have that. But what they do is they write a different name, like the syrups, like your maple syrup, it has a higher amount of sugar percentage in it. And then what happens is we feel that we had it was a very healthy meal that we had, and still our sugar spiked up. Why did that happen? Let's say I am having proper amount of carb, protein, fat, and then, again, I'm having a good amount of, fiber in the meal. Still my sugar spikes are happening. Why does that happen? So I'll help you out with, how to eat your meal. Again, I've seen my plate. Yes, my carbs are less. Yes, my protein is there, fiber is there, and the fat is there. Still, how should I eat my meal? How should you consciously, a diabetic should eat? So that is your meal sequencing. Now, what is meal sequencing? A lot of times you all must have heard, eat your salads first. Everybody says, eat your salad first, eat your salad first. Why? So basically the strategy of meal sequencing is that we need to eat a particular food, in a particular manner. We need to focus on having the protein part first with the fiber and fat. And that should follow, So first start with having your proteins or the fiber, let's say your salad part. So finish your salad just 2 minutes before your meal. And after that, have the protein portion, whatever protein is there, be it a dal, be it your chicken, be it your egg. Finish that, okay, after your salad. And then choose the fat and the vegetable sabzi that you have made along with the carb. If you follow this meal sequencing, what will happen? The GLP production, that is a hormone in your body, that is promoted, the secretion is promoted, and what will happen? It will make you feel full faster, and the sugar spikes will come down. It will be blunt spikes rather than having a really sharp spike. So make sure that you do follow meal sequencing, that is your vegetables first, then the protein, fat, and then having the carb at the end, right? I hope it was something to learn from, and I would like to take up the questions here. So you can drop in your questions, definitely. I have one question by Dhaval. So to know how the CGM technology helps diabetics to choose their food. All right. So how does a diabetic choose, that what should be taken and what should not? So CGM is basically a small patch. It's just a small device which is attached to your arm for 14 days, right? Now, what it does is every 15 minutes, it gives you a sugar reading to understand your body trends, how exactly my sugars are spiking. Let's say your sugars are spiking at 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, how would you get to know that? We can't expect you to wake up every morning, right? So here, what we do at Sugarfit, your health coach and your doctor deeply understand each and every food that you are consuming. Let's say, you heard that, yes, ragi is good for diabetic, but ragi is causing a huge spike in your body. How do we understand that? So with the CGM, we relate your food meals, the medication, stress, sleep, All these with the CGM to understand, how exactly your sugars are spiking. And that ways your health coach can make you understand what foods to be included and what to be excluded. And accordingly, we go ahead with that. So that is how a CGM technology works. Another question I can see is of Kartika, which is lemon water good for diabetes? So lemon, of course, can be taken. Lemon in the morning, you can take, or in the mid-morning time, you can have lemon water definitely. But again, lemon has antioxidant effect. So if you're taking lemon, it's not going to affect your diabetes in any way. So it's not going to impact on sugars, but definitely it is going to give you the antioxidant effect. It is going to help you in, reducing down the toxins in your body. So definitely you can include, your lemon into the water for diabetes. Is milk at night good for diabetes? So Kunal, milk at night, we need to see your sugar levels. If in case there is any hypostate, which means your sugars are dropping down, you can include a certain amount of, milk. But again, a very important thing is to count the carbs, to count the total calories, which you can sit and do down. And to understand how milk impacts, I would suggest each one of you to join in the Sugarfit community group and subscribe to the channel so that we can make you understand on each and every, particular meal, how exactly it should look like, and various other things for diabetic people, right? So I think I'll be, winding up. We'll be taking up more questions in the coming few weeks. But of course, if anybody has any other questions, they can definitely, join the community group, write down your questions there. We all are there to help you out, and we will definitely, answer back to all of your questions. Okay, so I can see another few questions. Let me take that as well. Is cheese good for diabetics? So cheese, I would suggest to avoid cheese, since cheese is just not, a milk product. It has a lot of fat and it has a lot of salt content. So if you have high cholesterol levels, if you have, high BP issues, try to avoid cheese. Apart from that, even if we are diabetic and our weight is a concerning matter, cheese in just about, once in a week, that is about 5 grams, if we're having with a good vegetable salad, it can be included. Otherwise, I would suggest you to avoid cheese, right? Okay. What are some good protein options for diabetics? So protein option for diabetic people, of course, focusing on whatever is locally available to you. So our dals, pulses are really good option for that. Sprout your pulses. They enhance the quality. They enhance the nutrition for you. You can go, if you are not a thyroid patient, you can go for soybean, right? So soybean can be done. Soybean can be taken. Tofu can be taken. You can also go for eggs. You can go for chicken. Try to avoid red meat, okay? Red meat, again, has a very, very high fat percentage, and that is not good for health. So go for chicken, go for fish, go for lean meats, and go for egg options. For vegetarian people, you can definitely go for low-fat paneer option. You can go for having good amount of, lentils, legumes in your diet. Include nuts, oils, seeds, So nuts, you can include in a certain amount. Seeds that are like flax seeds, like sunflower seeds, definitely included daily in your meal to enhance the good quality of fat in the diet. And protein as well, right? What are various options of fiber and protein for vegan? Please again, okay. All right. And the amount of the food. All right. So fiber, again, since, you are vegan. So what you can do is definitely milk is out of question. So if you want to include fiber in your diet, include it by adding whole grains and millets in the diet. That will give you a good amount of fiber. And chia seeds can be included, So having chia water, lemon chia water, again, is a good mid-morning time drink that you can take. Add whole grains, go on to whole grain option. That is going to give you good fibers, right? Include more salad options. So by salad, it's not always, having fancy salads. No. Even if you're cutting, just a cucumber and tomato and having that before your meal, it is going to help in blunting out the sugar spike. Instead of having a really, really high spike, it is going to blunt down the spikes. So make sure that you can include these options. Go for whole grain options, right? Those are very good in fiber. again. So these are for particular foods that you can definitely include. Portion size depends upon each and every individual, what your body weight is, what your BMI looks like. According to that, the total calories are counted for you, and then the certain portioning of each and every meal is done. So that is very, very user specific. If you want to know, you can always connect with us so that we can guide you on how exactly what portion can be taken, how much carbs can be taken, how much proteins to be taken. So we can do that. Can we replace carbs like rice with starchy vegetables like potatoes, taro root? Okay. So I would suggest, to understand, is rice causing a sugar spike to you? Because in a lot of diabetic people, rice is just not the causing factor of diabetes. Now, taking a certain amount of rice, let's say a vegetable, pulao, it's a very good option if you, include a vegetable paneer pulao, a vegetable chicken pulao, and you have less rice portion. So moderation is the key. Again, the portion size is the key. Lower down the rice, portion of rice, include more vegetables into it. That way, the carb percentage is reducing and your sugar spikes will not happen. But vegetables like potatoes or arbi, or we also have yams, what happens is they have a higher glycemic load on your body. So you need to check how much are you taking. I would suggest to avoid, but if you really like it, then in the form of mashed potatoes, that too with lots of vegetables, and once in a month or maybe once in 2 weeks, you can have with a good amount of physical workout. So you can use it as a pre-workout meal and have it. But I would suggest on a whole lot, if you're just having normal rice with nothing, or just potatoes or yams, then it should be avoided. What's the first thing to be consumed in the morning? Okay, so few people do start their morning by having a cup of tea or having some biscuits. So I would suggest you not to do that. The moment you wake up, try to have a glass of water. And then again, one thing is not specific. So if I say that, yes, if you take this, your sugars will not spike, that is not true, because each and every body type is different, right? So to understand, we need to understand the body pattern. And the body pattern can be understood by, through a CGM. When we understand how your body, fluctuations are happening, what is suiting your body or what is not. But I would definitely suggest not to have tea or coffee as the first thing in the morning. You can start your day by having, a glass of normal warm water with some lemon in it, that gives you a good antioxidant effect. Or you can also include amla water. That is really, really good for the body. But no one specific food or no one specific meal will help you, to reverse or, lower down the sugar spikes. We need to understand what exactly suits your body. Right? So I think we will be connecting again very, very soon. Any questions, any doubts that you all have, do join in the Sugarfit community group so that we can answer you there, and do subscribe, right? Thank you, everyone. Yeah.